we are welcoming you for part 2 with our special guest, the beautiful Bernadette O'Connor. So another round of applause.
Hi. Thank you again for having me.
Fantastic to have you here, Bernadette. Thank you for giving us some of your beautiful grace and presence. And this is going to be a fantastic segment on these 5 things. And what I like about these 5 things, it's just a micro slice. We've got a whole lot of stuff that floats around ourselves. And this is just a micro slice of what Bernadette's talking in how to transform into truth. And she's going to give you 5 tips, 5 suggestions. So take notes, people, and definitely enjoy our part 2 of this segment. So, I'm just going to do a couple of hellos.
Yeah. I like this bit. I like to know who
you love this bit. I do too, right? Okay, so let's see who we've got to welcome. We have beautiful Chris again.
Hi, Chris.
I love it. And from Adelaide, fantastic to have you,
cool.
Chris. And it's sunny in Adelaide, so there you go. There's something to know.
It's raining in Newcastle. Did you know that yet, Sharyn? It's raining outside.
I believe that I had got a bit of a wind that it might have been a bit raining out there. And the beautiful Ali Brown has joined us from the Hunter area, so it's fantastic to have you here. So thanks for joining in. And if you missed our part 1, you can definitely go back to our replays and have a look where Bernadette shared a little bit about her business and being an entrepreneur as a woman. And I definitely would take you back through some of those little tips that she so willingly shared. Ali just says that she's back for more fascinating conversations. So
oh, cool. I do love a conversation, Ali, if you haven't noticed.
We'll be getting our own Logie, Emmy or something like that. And the beautiful Lisa Cruz. Hello.
Hi, Lisa again.
Lisa is back joining us again. So great to have you here. Thank you, ladies, for popping up and making this part of your day. So let's get into these 5 things. And number 1, you say, is intention. Tell us a little bit about that.
So most of the work I do with people, whether they realize it or not, is to bring them into their truth, to transform them into their truth. When people turn up to see me as a client, they've already set the intention. By making that appointment, they've set the intention that they are ready to change. But if you're not coming to see me and booking an appointment as such, but if you are wanting change in your life, if you're feeling stuck, if you're in a rut, if you're frustrated with where you are, the first thing you have to do, and it's a very, very powerful thing, is get really clear and set that intention and tell the universe, I am ready to change. I am ready to move from where I am to where I'm going. And it sounds really simple, but it is so powerful. And just by using those words, I am ready to change, the vibration that's coming from you, and I look at everything from an energetic perspective, but the law of attraction says what we vibrationally put out, we attract. And if we are putting out the statement, I am ready to change, then the universal energy will gift us those things that are going to stimulate change. Now, sometimes those gifts, and which is why I laugh, sometimes those gifts are not very pleasant, but they damn well will get change happening. Had a lovely a friend tell me she fell down the steps on Sunday afternoon because she needed a change. Not that she was ready to change. She was ready to go to that next level. And she knows that. And the universe gifted her with this subtle reminder, okay, here are some of the things you need to clear to change.
Wow. So, and how it shows up is that's definitely not what we want to encourage people falling downstairs.
No. And she certainly didn't intentionally do that. But the universe will act with us in ways to get our attention, and if we don't listen, sometimes, we get sent, I call them curveballs, and sometimes those curveballs aren't pleasant, but, they start by being subtle. And as soon as we go, I'm ready to change, we're kind of going, hey, universe, I'm working with you now, because we're always going to be changing. And there's a quote that I've seen, and I'll paraphrase, but it's the ego likes to tell likes to control when we're ready to change. The soul knows when it's ready to change. So our deeper consciousness, our deep super conscious, will be putting it out there, I am ready, and things will start happening. Sometimes we might not think that we're ready. But if you're getting curveballs, it's your soul's way of saying, it's time that we change. But if you consciously jump on board and go, I am ready, then the whole being is aligned and not fighting the process.
So really in that there was actually intention and attention.
Yes.
So putting the attention and then what are you paying attention to?
Totally.
Or trying to get your attention. I call the attention part the feather, the brick, the Mack truck. Because the universe, I've found, will give you the lighter little signs, and if you keep just ignoring and just I'll get round to it or not paying attention, the nudges will get larger and larger until the Mack truck or the push down the stairs or something like that.
My first business name as a kinesiologist was My Body Talks, because, as kinesiology we work with the physical body. So it was My Body Talks. But I very quickly realized sometimes the body doesn't talk. Sometimes your body screams at you if you are not taking notice. And like I say to people, you've got this health stuff going on. You might have start of autoimmune symptoms. You might have, some funny stuff. And then there's, some more funny stuff. I'm like, come on, let's jump on this now before you get hit with something really serious. Mack truck, because what's it going to take for you to change? And let's not all go down the Mack truck path. Let's listen.
Yeah. And here we are, Lenore says, yes, those universal gifts are sometimes more of a massive nudge. Absolutely. And Ali says, a tickle than a nudge, still not listening, slam dunk. Absolutely.
Kaboom.
And beautiful Chelsea Reid. Hello, Chelsea from Port Stephens, joining us. So fantastic to have you here, Chelsea, which is great. Okay, so let's move on to number 2 is stop running. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think I touched on this in our previous conversation around as humans, we've got this innate fight or flight program, but it was designed in our primitive brain to keep us in survival. So when the tiger came, we could keep ourselves safe. But what's happened over time, and I really, I'm acutely aware of it now, is that primitive brain is on overdrive all the time. So we are in a state of survival. So we are constantly aware of threats or feeling under threat, and that's why people, have anxiety, they've got adrenal issues and those type of things. But to counter that, we've also been programmed that pain is bad, that any sort of emotional discomfort is a bad thing, and that we shouldn't struggle, even though we actually like to struggle. But, any of those things we're told to run from or to fix them or to suppress them. And when I talk about stop running, it's enough. If there is pain or discomfort on a physical level or emotional level or mental level or an ease within your being, just sit with it. Stop hiding from it. Stop popping pills, drinking glasses, bottles of wine to suppress it. Whatever it is that your fix is, it's stop putting the facade up and going, yeah, world, I'm okay. Sit with the pain, sit with the discomfort, stop running, and that starts the process of healing, because you go, you know what? First of all, you've gone, I'm ready to change. Second of all, you then go to the universe, I'm actually ready to look at my stuff. And damn right, it can be hard. I'm feeling that emotion. I don't know whether it's yours, Sharyn, or if it's some of the listeners. I'm feeling like that. It can be really confronting to stop running, particularly if you've been running, if there's childhood stuff and you've been running for 30 years from that, it's going to be challenging, but you are never going to heal and grow into what you can be unless you look at that stuff, and you've got to stop running.
Beautiful. And, just want to also pick up Chelsea's comment here. This is what I'm trying to conquer now, stop and address the issue so I can move forward. Chelsea, well said. If I might just add, just having the courage to voice that, because you're not alone. We all have our own levels and stories of pain and discomfort. We were talking in our part 1. And so just know that sometimes we often think, oh, I'm the only one that's different. No, that's not the case. So well done for sharing that, Chelsea. Thank you so much. Excellent. Okay, so number 3, we are embody the pain, which is talking about, we've stopped and now we're going to embody the pain.
Yeah. So when we talk about embodiment, it's pain or discomfort can be felt within the physical being. And, if we've got like pain in the shoulder and we go, oh, I don't like that, we try and fix it. Again, it's stop running from that and actually sit with it, embody it, feel it, move with it, connect with it, embody it, feel it, understand it. I say it's like honor it, honor your pain. But then let it go. Okay? Because there's a big difference with I've got this pain and I'm aware of it and I'm attaching to it, and then it starts to define. It's like, yes, honor, respect it, understand it, seek to understand where it's coming from, seek to understand what it's trying to tell you, sit with it, ask it. It sounds crazy, but just sit with it and say, what are you trying to tell me? And wait for your intuitive self, which is so wise, so wise, to just say, it's this. And take, you might see an image of something, or you might hear something, or you might remember something. Listen and trust those signals, because as soon as you kind of get that, it starts to release. But if you attach to it and attach to the story, then it ladens it up. So embody it, move with it, feel it, but then breathing. Breath work is extraordinary. It's the simplest thing to do, but just choose to let that go. It's like, yes, I remember you, and now I'm choosing to release you, and just breathe it out. Like I do a beautiful, simple technique is, breathing in calm and peace, and releasing the anger and frustration, if that's what the emotion is that you're feeling. And then just breathe it in and release. And it sounds really simple, and it is. And that's, one of the things is we complicate everything so much. Energy is extraordinarily wise, and we think we've got to do all these damn fangled fancy things. Just breathe and work with the energy, and it will release. It will release.
When it comes to that breath work, the one that I love saying is in with the happy, breathing in, and exhale the crappy.
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of like all the good in one sack and all the yuck in another, and out it goes.
Yeah, it usually gets people at least commencing the work.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, we kind of go with the crappy, oh, it must be bad. Anger, frustration, any of those, they're not bad emotions. They're just vibration. They're just a piece of data, the same as happy, joy. They just have a different vibration, and they make us feel different. But they're there for a reason. And when we remember why we're angry with our grandfather, I don't know where that one's coming from, but, if we remember that and honour that, and then we can just go, thank you, and now I let you go. And, just that sense of freedom that we get as soon as we start to choose to let go. They're just like, we start to become free. And then, I get a bit carried away, people. And then there's space for the beautiful stuff to be coming in. Like when we're as entrepreneurial women, we want to expand and grow ourselves and our business, you've got to get rid of your shish. You've got to get rid of your junk to create space for the beautiful to come in. You can't expand if you're bogged down with all your old stuff. I use the term unraveling. We have to unravel ourselves to make space to expand into who we're becoming.
That's nice, beautiful. And Donna Hampton's joining us. Hello, beautiful Donna. And she says here, I see this all the time with health. So she works with, again, hormone health. Yes. So many people live their illness. You see their face light up when they start talking about everything that is or has been wrong or unwell, because that's obviously a safety place. Love to thrive in that, and it needs to be released. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we could talk on that, but we sabotage our health, or people sabotage our health for so many reasons. And in identifying those reasons why, it could be the little child who didn't get enough love and attention at home, who's then grown up to become the woman who needs to be sick to get love and attention. Now that's old. That doesn't need to be in place anymore, and your health doesn't need to continue to be compromised because of that. But you have to look at that little girl who's craving love and attention, and you have to heal her.
Well, can we talk about this for hours, guys? Who's loving this segment? It's amazing. Thank you so much. So we're going to take point number 4 of our These 5 Things, and that is dancing in the dark. Woo-hoo.
I love that. I love that Ed Sheeran song where it goes, I think it's called Perfect and Dancing in the Dark, because I'm like, yeah. And this isn't about dancing with dark energy and evil energy and the devil and anything like that. It's like we as beings, energy beings, we are the perfect incarnation of duality. So we have light and we have dark, and so many people will just like, I want to be a light being, I'm all light and love and all of this, but there's this extraordinary powerful aspect to ourselves which balances us, which is our dark, and in our dark we learn and we grow. And there's that quote saying that the stars can't shine without the darkness behind it. So when I'm working with people, and, we spoke earlier about digging into the pain, the core pain, that's kind of like going into that core darkness and getting people comfortable with sitting in there and then moving with it. And that movement could be dance. It could be, there's beautiful programs like chakra dancing where you're just releasing. It could be just movement. It could be, like, for me, running is a real way to move through my dark corners. But I like to take people into, a meditation where you just like go into a dark kind of well, the pit of a well where there's darkness, and just sit in there and then start moving in there and allow, when you start to honor and respect and not run from it, that darkness starts to transmute. It changes into light. And we don't have to do a lot of work. We just have to let ourselves dance and move in that darkness for it to move through us. That energy just needs to move through us, and then it will change. And so, dance in your darkness. If you're feeling funky, if you're feeling raging, if you're feeling sad, get up and dance and move and let it move through you. It's very empowering. Instead of it controlling you, it's so empowering. It's like, no, this is part of me, and I'm going to honor her, and I'm going to move with her, and I'm going to let her speak to me, and then I'm going to let her go.
That is a beautiful tip. Chris is just following on to say that she danced outside last Friday whilst doing breathing exercise, tripped and gave herself a concussion. Probably not.
No. Well, I could look into that, because I'm like, my sister says I can read anything into anything, but yeah, maybe you're going a bit hard there.
Then she went to yoga. You're a good woman, Chris. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so our last little tip in our These 5 Things is gratitude and forgiveness.
So I sort of did 6 things in the 5 things, but I couldn't. These two, gratitude and forgiveness, are kind of given. If you want to change, if you want to transform, if you want to grow, you cannot not do these things. So gratitude is so much more than having a gratitude journal where you go, I'm thankful for, write 10 things down every night. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. And I get a little bit cynical about that because it was such a big thing, but it kind of missed the essence of it, in that when we're doing those things, it's not about coming from here, it's about coming from here, and it's feeling gratitude. So we can think gratitude, but when we feel gratitude, then that's the vibration we're putting out to the universe.
Nice. Great.
I think people think gratitude because that's what I should do. And that's what all the books say I should do.
And I've got 36 to write 5 things down.
Yeah, and that's not what it's about. It's like, you know, the ticking at the boxes. These are all the things I should do. It's like, no, feel it. You know, and like when truth starts coming through, I get this hit of emotion. But it's, you know, when you feel gratitude and it brings you to tears, just for the littlest thing, when you can. Yes. Sometimes if I look at one of my kids and it just catches me off guard, and it's just like, I am so grateful for sharing my life with them, and it brings me to tears. I'm talking that's feeling gratitude. Yep. And so getting into the practice of feeling gratitude. It doesn't have to be first thing in the morning, last thing at night. Yeah, it can be, absolutely. But it might be sitting in the car. It might be, you know, when you're sitting in front of the computer and you just stop for a second and you just go, oh my God, how blessed am I? And it's looking for those moments and becoming increasingly aware of those moments. When we are in gratitude, we are in such a beautiful vibration that the universe, almost like I feel like the universe sort of puts its arms around us and holds us. And, you know, sometimes when we're transforming, we need to be held. I can't remember. It was in the last couple of weeks. Oh, no, it was only last week. And we were away and we were camping Commonwealth Games, and one night for about 3 or 4 hours I got this excruciating ear pain. And I was, you know, I was being tested on all these things, like dance in the dark, Bernadette, dance in the dark. And I was like, oh, I just need to vomit. I just need to get in the car. I just need to get on Facebook or something. But my phone was dead. I couldn't go driving and I had to sit with it. And it was like almost vomit-inducing pain, like labour pain. That's what I was comparing it to. So there was a strong message in that. But I ended up, whether I call it praying or whether I call it working with the universe, I just surrendered and I went, I need to be held here because this is big, what I'm moving through, and I'm sitting with it, but hold me. And I think when we're in the vibration of gratitude, we're inviting the universe to hold us. So it's a good one when we're transforming, because we can get wobbles when we're transforming. And then when we talk about forgiveness, forgiveness is the key to our freedom. And when we talk about forgiving another, it's actually got nothing to do with the other. It's got everything to do with you and you reclaiming your freedom. Because whilst ever you are not in forgiveness towards another for what's been done to you, then you're holding another emotion. And if that's anger or resentment or bitterness or grief or any of those emotions, then you are disempowering yourself and you're enabling that other person to have power over you. So when you choose to allow yourself to feel forgiveness for another, and it's not about condoning their actions, it's about releasing yourself from them. Because whilst there's an emotion that's attached to the memory of an experience, then you're still connected. And so when you forgive and release, you free yourself from that person and that experience, and therefore you free yourself. And it's like, the visual I'm getting, it's like a ball and chain. You know, you might feel like you're flying free, but whilst there's lingering things that you are holding on to, even on a deep subconscious level, then you're being held back in some way. And look, it takes a lot of work, and I would recommend getting somebody, you know, to support you if there's very old, painful experiences, to support and hold you and guide you through the forgiveness process. But don't run from that, because it is your freedom. And I've seen people, I've taken so many, I'm very privileged to have taken so many people through that. And I've seen firsthand the power of forgiveness in how it can instantaneously change people's experiences. Because what changes in you creates change in others, and that has a flow on, has the ripple effect.
Absolutely. Wow. Like there's so many beautiful ahas in that, just in that two, shall we call it one topic, one little 0.5.
Sneaky.
And you're talking about that real deep gratitude, that real deep sense of appreciation. It's again, I suppose, why, we have nature surrounding us, because, when you come around a corner, you go for a walk and you come and you just see the most simplest scene, but yet it's just like, oh, wow, look at that. And you go to that place.
Don't you love that feeling of just like getting caught off guard, almost like beauty? I remember being in Bali and just on a retreat with Tammy Guest, a local naturopath, and it was sunrise one morning and I was sitting there, and it was quite comical, the intensity of the emotion I felt when I saw the sun rising across the water and a lone surfer came in, and it was all became one. And it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was sitting there sobbing, so grateful for the experience. But that's truth. That's real. That's what life is about.
May have popped up.
It did.
A little book, which we'll talk about in a moment.
It did, because it was almost. I wrote a tiny bit. I wrote the chapter prior to that one whilst I was in Bali. It was such a beautiful, like just sitting there watching the sunrise there. And then when I got to that last chapter, I was like, I know where she's at. I know how she feels. And it came through. Yeah.
That all connects for me, like that deepness about it is, I can catch the water, fortunately we're in a place where we can see the water from where we live now. And I can just be, even saying, oh my gosh, oh, wow, look at that for this moment. And it is going to that place. And I love how you say, just don't putting it onto a list and feel like, okay, I've put my 3 or 4 things now. I've done my gratitude. Now I'm going to let the kids something. Yeah. It's really doing that physicality of the moment. And it can be whatever you feel. If you just say, okay, great, I feel excited and grateful for this pen. It'll be whatever you feel, and it's not wrong or right.
Exactly. And what you were saying before about, if people are feeling like they've got stuff, don't feel bad that, that because we've all got our stuff. It's the same. If gratitude doesn't come easily to you yet, that's okay as well, for practice. Because it's like, I look at a lot of things from a neurological perspective as well. We lay down new neural pathways as, babies are learning to walk and talk and grow and everything. But it's very much the same with our energetic pathways. And if we don't have an innate pathway for gratitude, practice it and develop that, so that your eyes, your being, your third eye, your eye, see from a place of gratitude. And so train yourself, train yourself to a new way of being. Yeah.
And do you think, Bernadette, just while we're talking about that, is that I'm going to choose my words here, is that we don't slow down to allow those moments, because we're going, okay, there's the next thing to get done, which is very different from saying I'm switched off and I'm being, relaxing. It's a very different situation.
And I think, I know where you're coming from there. It's because I think some people think that to get into these places of gratitude that we have to be some woo-woo hippie who or a very enlightened spiritual being who, gets up at 4 a.m. every morning and meditates for 2 hours. And it's not that. It's the real people that it's in the moment of just catching it. Like you said, like the pen, my coffee first thing in the morning. When I take that, I love coffee. I don't have many fixes, but I do love coffee. When I take that first sip, it's like, it's that. So it's looking for that. It doesn't have to be, when I'm being, it's taking it into being, if that makes sense.
No, I totally get it. I love it. I think that's a beautiful way to close off your 5 things. So what I'd like to do is take some questions and that from our audience for now. And while we're waiting for those to come up, I'm just going to let everyone know that the place to go to find out more about Bernadette is her website, bernadetteoconnor.com. And this is where you can purchase this amazing book, and Let's Go Home, the story of Halia, which is just an incredible name on itself. And you have to read the book to find out why she has that. And the beautiful Bernadette there. And again, my advice is to at least get 2 books, one for yourself, one to give to a friend, and you'll know who that friend is. And and then book in an appointment to see Bernadette.
To work through all the stuff.
Like me will need to say, I've got questions about these pages that I've earmarked over. To do.
Yeah, very interesting. I didn't actually realise that was going to happen, but I'm seeing a lot of people being very triggered. I thought there was going to be like ahas and there's some wisdom. I didn't realise it was going to be putting little needles, so many needles into so many people.
Probably by that stage, we will have worked through some of those other things that have shown up. Ali has said, I thrive on that feeling. She's talking a bit about that deep-seated gratitude, which is tremendous. Great. You've been doing an amazing job on that, Ali, over a number of years, which is fantastic. And she said it's not so much about the grateful as recognising the fullness of life, which is another quote. And Lenore says, those in those moments. And I get it. It's about making moments, I always talked about making moments in the sense of noticing the moments that you make in life, because we can get on to the next thing. But I love that there's another application of saying in those moments, connect with that great gratitude, that deep appreciation for sure.
And anchoring in those moments, like when you're in it and you're feeling it, it's like, hold on to this and sort of cement yourself into it. So when you're in a bit of a tough part, you can pull that vibration back in, like remember when, and then you pull that vibration back in through you.
Absolutely. It's just, when people say, that manifesting, if you think about the thing that you really do want, you could be very clear about what you want, and then associating a deep-seated emotion that goes with it when you feel that that's accomplished, and then getting yourself back into that emotion more often. This is how my life is, and then things pop up. It fuels
it. The thought attached to the emotion creates a greater charge on the magnetic attraction. Another way of phrasing it.
How exciting. How exciting. Well, we have had an incredible time. I'd love to, again, welcome our viewers to send their thanks to Bernadette for those sharing her wisdom with us this morning. Any questions you have, any comments and ahas that you have, whether you watched it live or on our replay, please pop it on the feed. We would love to take in your points of view, which would be, I know that Bernadette will be thrilled to also read.
Check in. Yes.
And the next thing we have is that we do have a personally signed copy of Let's Go Home that someone will be winning as such. So I'm going to pop the link on the part 2 after this concludes. You click that, you can go to the page, enter your details into that, and we will be drawing the winner out next Monday, and Bernadette will be sending you a little message in her book. So I hope that you are the winner, and we look forward to seeing who is the recipient of that. Now, if you want 5 bonus entries into the draw, you've got the episodes once we close off. Share the episodes on to your friends and family, those people that you would love to either see some encouragement about being a woman entrepreneur in part 1, or want to get some more truth tips around how they're living their life in part 2. Share those episodes on, tag the page Sharyn Swan, the dot connector, so we know who's shared the page, and we'll give you 5 bonus entries if you've entered the draw, and hopefully that'll elevate your chances of winning that signed copy. So Lisa's got a final thing here. She says that I will be working on my gratitude more as I often feel it, but to now stop, listen and absorb it more. Brilliant, Lisa. That's tremendous.
Well done, Lisa.
So, Bernadette, anything final you would love to add as we wrap this up?
Just a huge thank you to you, Sharyn, for inviting me on. I love having a chat, and I love talking about what I'm so passionate about, and because I know it works, and the opportunity to just inspire people. So thank you very much.
Oh, an absolute pleasure. Thank you for saying yes, and to being our very first special guest, which we knew, again, when we talked about this some months ago, the book hadn't even arrived. at this point. So, of course, the timing is always perfectly set up for us. And you are such a beautiful woman, the wisdom and I'm going to say this in a very respectful way, the simplicity in which you do life just is so admirable, and you just have this gorgeous flow. And I love being a customer, I love being a client, I love knowing you, and I'm just delighted that you've been willing to share with our audience today. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to sign off now, and we look forward to reading any further comments in the post below. But other than that, have an amazing day, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.